Hey there everyone! Today, I've got some mind-blowing facts about Pepsi that are going to make you question everything you thought you knew about this iconic soda. Ready to pop open a can of knowledge? Let's dive in. First up, did you know that Pepsi wasn't always called Pepsi? When it was first created back in 1893, it was known as Brad's Drink. Yep, it was named after its inventor, Caleb Bradham, a pharmacist from North Carolina. It wasn't until 1898 that it got the name Pepsi-Cola, inspired by the digestive enzyme pepsin and the cola nuts used in the recipe. Now here's a sweet fact. Pepsi once had a whole lot of sugar. In the 1930s, Pepsi hit the market with the catchy slogan, "Twice as much for a nickel." This was a genius move during the Great Depression, offering more soda for the same price as its competitors. They even exploited this price advantage in their advertising campaigns to attract budget-conscious customers. Speaking of advertising, Pepsi has a knack for memorable ads. In fact, in 1984, they pulled off one of the most iconic commercials ever with Michael Jackson. During a live filming, a pyrotechnic accident caused Jackson's hair to catch fire, resulting in burns. Pepsi settled with Jackson, and he donated the settlement to a burn center. That incident didn't hurt their partnership. It only made their collaboration more legendary. And here's something you probably didn't know about Pepsi's global reach. Back in the 1970s, Pepsi struck a deal with the Soviet Union. In exchange for Pepsi syrup, the Russians paid with Stolichnaya vodka. This barter system was groundbreaking and made Pepsi the first American product to be sold in the Soviet Union. Talk about making history. Now let's talk about the great taste debate. Pepsi versus Coke. Did you know that Pepsi actually won the famous Pepsi Challenge? This was a series of blind taste tests conducted in the 1970s and 80s, where consumers preferred Pepsi over Coke. This bold campaign shook the Cola Wars and gave Pepsi a significant boost in popularity. Ever heard of Pepsi AM? In the late 1980s, Pepsi tested a morning soda called Pepsi AM, which contained 28% more caffeine than regular Pepsi. It was marketed to those who wanted a caffeine kick in the morning but weren't coffee drinkers. Unfortunately, it didn't catch on, but it sure was an interesting idea. And here's a fun one. Pepsi once had its own navy. In 1989, as part of their deal with the Soviet Union, Pepsi received a fleet of Soviet warships to sell for scrap to offset some trade imbalances. This technically made Pepsi the sixth largest military power in the world for a short time. How wild is that? Finally, a bit about Pepsi's futuristic side. In 2014, Pepsi unveiled the Pepsi P1, a smartphone released exclusively in China. It featured a sleek design and was packed with features, but it didn't make it big in the global market. So next time you sip on a Pepsi, remember, you're drinking a piece of history loaded with fascinating stories. If you enjoyed these Pepsi facts, don't forget to hit that like button and subscribe for more facts-packed videos. See you next time.